with a $42,000 plus fine per video. If your content is for kids and you say it's not for kids, it's in your best interest to mark your content as for kids if you think there's any possibility that that's going to be the primary audience. With that being said, you lose out on a lot of features. You don't get info cards, end cards, comments, notification bell, community tabs, stories, and you won't be able to have personalized ads on your videos, meaning you're going to earn a lot less revenue, 60 to 90% less revenue on those specific videos that are for kids. So what losing all that means is you're going to get less views, you're going to have less community interaction, you're not going to be able to send people to websites nearly as easily if you want to make sales and get leads or whatever else you have going on. So what are your options? In this video, I'm going to give you a bunch of different options to keep your audience alive, growing, keeping the interaction there, and helping replace some of that revenue, as well as ways to get more views back onto your videos. The first thing you need to know is this is something you need to get on doing today, because at the time of this video, you've only got a few weeks to get these changes put into effect. And the quicker you can get them put into action, the better the results you're gonna get and the more of the audience you can save. So first, let's talk about your actual content and what you should do on that side of things. There's a couple different options. Number one, you could start to make your content geared more towards adults and make it very clearly towards adults. At the end of the video, I'll link you to another YouTube video where I cover basically all the things YouTube's looking at as what's being considered for kids, so you can kind of figure out how to steer your future content. But you could change your content to make it more geared towards adults, and that way going forward, your new content, you can hopefully get at least a good chunk of your audience still watching, and you can keep the channel going, growing, and getting that ad revenue coming back in, and hopefully getting the features that you want. I don't know how YouTube's gonna act as far as that goes, if you have some content for kids and some not for kids. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I haven't made these changes yet because, as you'll see why in a second, I'm not going to make a lot of these changes until closer to the deadline. The other option also comes back to your content and doing a couple different things. You could start taking people from your channel and sending them to either an entirely new channel that is not geared towards kids, and starting from scratch and setting the foundation with the audience that you have and saying, hey, look, this is a channel that has content that's for 13 up. And I only want people there that's, looking for that kind of content, and I'm only gonna have that kind of content on that channel. So hopefully you can get as many of those people over to that new channel. Now keep in mind, with the limited time window you have, you're not gonna get a lot of people over there, or everyone over there for sure, but it could be the foundation of something new that you can build off of. The other option is to send them to other social media platforms where these aren't as much of an issue. Keep in mind that at some point the FTC will probably try to crack down on other platforms as well, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, whatever. They're probably gonna start looking at these other platforms. They made an example of YouTube, but I don't think they're just gonna stop there. But that being said, in the meantime, that's gonna give you another place where you can connect with your audience. You can build that sense of community. Maybe you can monetize in other ways. You can use those platforms to, get leads, sales, if that's a part of your business strategy. And even on Facebook now, you can actually make ad revenue like you do on YouTube. It's just a lot more sporadic, and it's a little bit more difficult to get approved for their ad platform at this point. Next big thing, and this is kind of a double-edged sword, because YouTube loves watch time, session duration. If you send people off of YouTube, then that sends a bad signal to YouTube about your channel. But that being said, for your business and bringing revenue back in to make up for that ad revenue, you would want to strongly consider sending people to get them onto an email list. Now keep in mind, the other things that I gave you that weren't YouTube, the other social media platforms, those will also have a similar effect. If you're sending people off YouTube, that's usually a bad signal for your channel. So it might hurt your YouTube channel, but what you will gain is a lot more stability in your traffic. Think about it like when you invest money. You diversify what you're investing in, so that way if you take a hit on one investment, that the other ones, are still there, and that gives you a level of balance. So as one's down, the others are up, and vice versa, and you don't have to deal with so many of these massive swings. Well, if you have an email list and people on these other social media platforms, and especially with the email list, you're gonna get something that you can count on. With the other social media platforms, you can't necessarily count on them. Just think about it as having your eggs in different baskets, so to speak, and the investment analogy. But with the email or the contact list, you could even do phone numbers. What you're gaining out of that is a list that you own. That's a document that you can save as an Excel spreadsheet or a CSV file or whatever you want to call it. But it's a spreadsheet that you can save and you own. You have that contact information, and now you can get a hold of those people. And that's powerful for a lot of reasons. Number one, you can use that email list to send people to your YouTube videos. So maybe even though you're losing out on the notifications through YouTube, you can use your email list as a means to get people onto those videos. And you can use that email list to make up for that loss in ad revenue by sending people to affiliate offers, possibly a Patreon, you know, products and services of your own that you're selling, merchandise, right? Anything that you can think of to help drive more revenue. And that's something I would highly encourage you to do. I'll talk more about that a little bit later in the video. The next option you have is getting people onto a Patreon. Now, there's a couple different things you could be doing with the Patreon. You could be using that to build your sense of community. You could be using it to make up for the loss in ad revenue. You could use it as a means to get commenting back on your videos by having people comment on your Patreon. So it provides you with a lot of different options. Again, though, you have to go through the step now of getting people off of YouTube onto that other platform, which means you're not going to get everybody. And YouTube doesn't like you offloading people off of YouTube. So that's something you'll want to consider. But at the end of the day, if you're relying on your content to provide ad revenue and the sense of community is really, really important, it's probably worth looking at Patreon as an option. You're gonna have a certain percentage of people that just love your content, and they're gonna be willing to pay a little bit to get all that content that you have coming out and to get that community interaction back. The next option, and I would say to do this pretty much across the board on any of your content that's geared towards kids, is since you're losing your info cards and your end screens and your comments, you're losing your ability to link people to other things. So what you could do is on the actual video, down in the bottom corner or the upper corner, have a website link that people can go to, something really easy. You could use Bitly for this. If you have your own website that you want to send them to, you could do that. But you'd want to take advantage of that as a means to get people onto other YouTube videos or to get them to go to your website. So that way you've got a way of sending people from your videos somewhere else, even though you're not able to directly link them to those things. And with that last option would tie in this next option, which is to start sending people more directly to affiliate links, offers, products, services, and you would have to go through it through the means I just given you. Now, one big thing to keep in mind is the FTC also recently released something talking about all these new rules for influencers, and when things are sponsored or affiliate links, you have to disclose that. So you'll definitely want to keep that in mind, something that I'll go over in another YouTube video that I'll link you to at the end. Next option is I would make some community tab posts and some dedicated videos that are gonna let people know about the situation. So the people that really love your content know what to do next, where to follow you. Should they go to your social media? Should they go to your website? Should they go to your email list? Whatever it is that you wanna do to keep things alive, I would recommend you make an entire dedicated video to that so people are aware of the situation and they know what to do. And I would get that out ASAP. In a couple days, maybe less, I'll have a video talking more about the influencer guidelines as far as how you have to go about disclosing affiliates and sponsorships and things like that. And I'll have that right here when it is up. And this is the video that explains more about what is considered kids content and what is not, what the changes are and how they'll affect you.